Welcome guys, Oddie here, and this is Liam's ultimate build for Xaku. Timestamps will be available for all the sections in the description. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, expect more videos to be uploaded on the channel from now on. I promise it won't take years this time. This build is tailored to deal with enemies of any level. With a bit of investment and a lot of hours of research behind it, your enjoyment of Xaku Prime will reach next level. The shards on the build will be 5 Tau Forged Yellow Shards, 2 for Energy Orb Effectiveness, and 3 for cast speed. If you don't understand something, pause, rewind the video, or ask in the comments. Starting with the abilities. The first one is our subsumed Rhino Roar that will replace Zata's Whisper. Thanks to Roar, enemies receive increased incoming damage from all sources. The ability cannot be recast, and while it's active, you will have to keep an eye out for when it expires. If you've been watching videos on Xaku, you might have seen people using Nourish or Zata's Whisper instead of Roar. Here is why Rhino Roar is the best option and why others are full of shit. Rhino's pros are higher duration, no cooldown, faction damage. It can be used alongside on our primer weapon. No prerequisites for the damage buff as we get it instantly on cast. Just make sure it's up, while the negatives are higher energy cost and no energy regen. The pros of Nourish are energy regen, saves us from using 2 Tau Forged Yellow Effectiveness on energy orb shards, and lower energy cost. While on the other hand, the AoE viral proc provided by Nourish has a 2-second cooldown. It has lower duration, it needs combat discipline so we can consistently proc it, which means we need to move from pack to pack needing 1 kill before the viral procs are applied, resulting in more forma being required because we run a lower rank aura intentionally so we don't die, and we can't use growing power for the 25% power strength. Because of the cooldown, we can only reach 3 viral procs max. Viral can be offloaded to a primer weapon instead of losing our subsume. It does not provide faction damage, so you miss out on a multiplier. And then there's Zata's Whisper. I don't know why you would even use this to begin with, since it doesn't work on Xaku's too, so for this build, it's useless. If none of that did it for you, here's everything I said in graph form.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the?
The maximum damage potential for Rhino Roar and Nourish Xaku are represented in green and red respectively. The black lines represent the health scaling of a corrupted heavy gunner. Going into the grasp of Lohk, it will steal enemies' weapons, giving us more weapons depending on how much range we have on the build. This ability scales with power strength, and uniquely, it scales off of enemy level. When we steal a weapon, the enemy weapon level is snapshot. Once you've stolen the maximum amount of weapons, you can't recast the ability. Enemies that lose their weapons are disarmed, and Xaku does not require line of sight to steal weapons. Look out for overguarded enemies as they are immune to having their weapons stolen. The Lost is a 3-in-1 ability with only one being useful, Gaze. When used, it pauses the targeted enemy, creating a defense reduction aura, which reduces shields and armor within range. Do note, enemies gain their reduced shields and armor once they move outside of the Gaze's aura. This can be used on up to 2 enemies at a time, but it can be recasted. Gaze defense reduction auras will stack with other defense reduction effects, but multiple Gaze auras do not stack with each other, so don't focus on having the targets in the same place. By default, you would have to tap the third ability in order to switch and hold to cast, but that makes it feel really slow because the game takes time to register that you're holding the key, giving you a delay when casting the ability with hold. We recommend you go into your settings and invert that. Vast Untime pauses the duration of our non-subsumed abilities, but also similar to Rhino Roar, it provides enemies with a 50% void damage vulnerability that doesn't scale with strength, so that means enemies receive 1.5 times incoming void damage, with Overguard blocking the debuff from being applied. Our 4th ability also provides us with a base 25% slow that scales off of power strength, and the slow and damage debuff lasts until the enemy dies. If you wondered about the ability casting order, we press 4 to pause the abilities, then we cast 2 which will steal the enemy weapons, followed by 3 with Gaze to armor strip enemies, and then finally Rhino Roar to further increase our damage. Going into the Warframe build, for strength we use Growing Power, Blind Rage, Transient Fortitude, Umbral Intensify, and Molt Augmented. Prime Sure-Footed in the Excellus slot, Prime Continuity to counteract the negative effect of Transient Fortitude, and for Energy Pool, the Insurance, and Recovery, we have Prime Flow and Arcane Energize. Finally, we want to go all out with range, so we have Augur Reach, Stretch, and a rank 4 Overextended. Here's why rank 4 is better than 5. As we know, the Grasp of Lohk gun amount scales off of range. With the current setup, we reach exactly 15 guns thanks to our rank 4 Overextended. You can see how going from rank 5 to rank 4 on an Overextended doesn't reduce the amount of guns we have. This is because rank 5 doesn't take us to 16 guns, but instead 15.9. The ability will always round it down to the nearest whole number, so this means if we want to reach that 16 gun, we would need to replace Prime Sure-Footed with Cunning Drift, which isn't even a favorable option to substitute Prime Sure-Footed for. If you really want more of one stat, we would rather go for Power Strength, so use Power Drift instead. As a result of using rank 4 over rank 5, we end up with more Power Strength with a minimal hit to our range. The primary build consists of any weapon with Amalgam Serration and primary dexterity. Similar situation for the secondary, you just need to equip Augur Pact and Augur Seeker with secondary dexterity for combo duration as an arcane. Grimoire is an option, here is the build for it, but the bonus stats that it provides are not necessary and it requires too much work for what it's worth. The melee not only primes the enemies with 10 viral procs and it triggers growing power, it also keeps both you and the pet alive. When it comes to the melee weapon, feel free to choose whatever you like, but look for higher range and high status chance. Liam does recommend Orthos Prime for beginners and Nami Solo Incarnon for a more top of the line pick. You'll notice the background footage was recorded with Orthos Prime as a melee weapon. As a returning player myself, getting my hands on the coveted Nami Solo Incarnon, which has an 8-week rotation, was impossible if we wanted to get this video out this century. Other than me just missing the Incarnon, this also proves that Orthos Prime is a suitable weapon for priming these level cap cascade enemies and at keeping us alive. The Argonak with Amalgam Argonak and Ceramic Dagger Incarnon with Evolution 3 Orcan Reach and Evolution 4 Absolute Dominion is a good option. The benefits for this are you can armor strip and viral proc, however, the armor strip is tied to dealing damage that works with melee influence, but it means you can't do both at the same time since viral isn't a DOT. Because of the low range and stance, Liam decided to just go with Nami Solo Incarnon. In case you pick the Nami Solo Incarnon, here are the important perks: Evolution 3 Resolute Force and Evolution 4 Absolute Dominion. Since you can choose any melee, the stance options are plenty. Just make sure that whatever you pick doesn't stop you every 3 swings or so. Since this was built on the Nami Solo Incarnon, Sundering Wave was the perfect pick. Discipline's Merit to enable Tennokai for the Incarnon evolution at no combo cost. Extra combo duration and status chance through drifting contact, attack speed and combo count chance obtained via quickening, status chance per combo count for weeping wounds, adding viral and status chance through virulent scourge and vicious frost, an unranked Voltaic Strike to add electricity to trigger melee influence, and extra status chance, unranked for better damage weighting, and last but not least, primed fury for attack speed and primed reach for range. Melee influence in the arcane slot. It has the same range as our second ability and it will be in charge for viral priming. If you want to add a Riven, these stats will work for any melee weapon paired with Xaku. Negative IPS for even better damage weighting. This is depending on the weapon you pick. Look for the highest number and bring it down. Range, status chance, and attack speed. On to the pet.
What is my purpose?
You use Martyr Symbiosis.
Oh my god.
Yeah, welcome to the club, pal.
Any Vulpaphyla works, you just need Martyr Symbiosis and a pack leader. Primed or not, doesn't really matter. The rest of the mods are as follows. Momentous Bond, Restorative Bond, Aerial Bond, and Medi-Pet Kit are for the pet revival speed. Restorative Bond can be replaced for a mod of your choice. Tech Assault so the pet avoids lethal damage 60% of the time. Think of it as a free revive for the pet. Resourceful Retriever is the main reason we run beast pets over sentinels. For those who know, welcome to Universal Vacuum Problem 2.0. Don't forget about elusive posture on your pet's melee, so it focuses on Martyr and nothing else. As a bonus, our pet also gets a little bit more survivability. Stay away from these mods. Charge and Quills will have a chance to stop your Vulpaphyla from casting Martyr Symbiosis, with evolution mods outright ruining the build for you. For the Focus School, Xeneric for normal missions, and Madurai if you do Cascade or whatever else requires an operator to deal damage. Don't forget to melee to stay alive and increase your damage through viral procs, keep an eye out on your ward to make sure it's always up, and equip a health key for Martyr Symbiosis. And that's it! Sub, like, comment, and join the Discord, and tune in to catch Liam live.